Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bears on Tap, a podcast about the Chicago Bears presented to you by On Tap Sportsnet. I'm your host, Brandon Suarez. You can follow me on Twitter at Bdon300, and today I'm joined by my co-host at Joey Knows Nothing. We're going to get ready for this weekend's matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. Quick turnaround. A lot has happened. It's only been about 48 hours since we talked. Obviously, Victory Tuesday turned out to be the last Tuesday for a certain Bear. But before we get started on everything today, Joey, how are you, my guy?
Doing great, man. It kind of sucks, right? Like seeing the Robert Quinn stuff today. I mean, like on one side of it, I'm happy because like you got a 4th-round pick for him at this point, which a lot of people were saying like, oh, you'll be lucky to get a 5th or a 6th or something like that with the way he's playing this year. But like that guy was a leader. We talked about a pre-show. The guy was a leader on the defense. He still put up 18 and a half sacks last year, which broke a franchise record, single season franchise record. Obviously, he had the first season was very rough here, but then bounced back like that. Like, there's still a lot in the tank there. I feel like the double teams. You just asked me how I was doing before we break into all this shit, man. I'm doing
No.
good.
Let the people know because, hey, dude, trades are a weird thing. Trades hit everyone a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
and all trades suck. Let me continue my stance on that. Whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever sport it may be, hockey, trades, fantasy football, they all suck. They're terrible. Nobody wins. The only team that wins is the team that got our best fucking defensive end, and we got a 4th-round pick that now we have to send some guy into fucking the trenches of college football to go find some dog, and he may or may not turn out. Fuck that. Fuck the prospect system. Fuck the practice squad. Fuck the bullshit. Bring me the 5 stars, and then the lunch pail guys in between.
But see, you know what people are going to say to that, though. The 5 stars, you might get a 5-star in the 4th round, right?
Listen,
that's the response to that. But
I did get one with Eddie Jackson.
You did. And you pretty much got a 5-star in Darnell Mooney in the 5th, right? So, like, we've seen it happen. Adrian Amos, you could kind of say, like, that's like a 5-star. I mean, I know he's not here anymore, but, like, we've seen it.
He's lost a couple stars.
He's lost a couple stars now. Yeah, it's going to that trader. He's a trader now, but going to the Packers. But dude, I feel you, man. Like trades hit me differently all the time too. Like I feel like on one hand, when you're a buying team, like you said, you know, the team that gets the player that's ready to produce.
Yeah, they won the trade already.
Right now they did. Whatever that 4th-round pick becomes, like we're not going to know until, you know what I mean? We're not going to know what the Bears do with that pick and like how that player is going to perform, and that's the hardest part to take.
Someone will make a faceless Twitter account sucking that player dry, and that player will probably not be good. And that's just like the cycle of trading players and the NFL. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a trade that was worth a shit for both teams involved, and right now, the timing of it, right? Like, think about the timing, okay? You come off your most dominating victory. There were certain points on Monday I didn't even know what the fuck to say because we haven't beat a team like that ever since we've had this show. And even before we had the show, I could not pinpoint a game that we looked like that, especially in primetime. And the way I look at it is this man didn't even get to practice on Wednesday. Like, he came to Hallis Hall and his key card didn't fucking work. And you saw Roquan's reaction. That's why I'm wearing Roquan's jersey today, because Roquan's my guy. But morale absolutely defeated, absolutely crushed. I'm looking at the injury report and the depth chart and just stuff like just to see if the Bears already kind of moved someone up. And on the Bears website, first string D end, it's just blank. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Kevin Jenkins before the season start out right now.
So frustrating. I know Bears fans are like, oh, glad he's gone, whatever. But the way our season is going right now, they didn't trade him at the beginning of the season when his value was the highest. And it's not that they were going to get a first or a second round draft pick for him, but overall, the whole situation is just frustrating. And I'm pinpointing the timing of it and just the player, man. Like, what the fuck? We had two all pro defensive ends, and now we have Travis Gibson and a rookie in Dominique Robinson, who isn't bad, but
both of them are pretty solid. It's just like they're solid to their own extent. It's not.
It's just still like why are we doing this to ourselves as a franchise again? And I state, and Quinn asked me a few weeks ago, do I blame Ryan Poles or Ryan Pace more for the situation that we're in? And it is the man who has yet to wake up for the day that's just covered in Cool Ranch Doritos, just laying in his fucking like in his little fucking lounge, just chilling. That fat bastard, I don't like him. And I'm fat too, so I can say it. So I don't care. Cancel culture come for me, but I do not like anything that Ryan Poles has done yet. 63% new roster, and all of the great players that we had left on the roster, regardless of the money that they were due, we're still paying money on those contracts. Joey, I'm glad you had me pull it up before, but Tom Pelissero reported that the Bears are paying $7.1 million of Robert Quinn's remaining base salary this season, and then Philadelphia essentially gets Quinn for the minimum for this year, and then inherits non-guaranteed base salaries of $14 and $13 million in the next 2 years. So you get rid of him, but you're still paying him, and obviously you're not in a window to contend. But like I said before we started, is it like the guy's going to fall off a cliff and not be productive? Like there's not a spot for him on our team, especially after already getting rid of Khalil Mack? No. That's kind of where I'm at with it. It's
well, and to your point too, like I feel like a lot of his poor production this season is kind of like, okay, you could see that from any real stud, especially when they're getting more double teams. Like I feel like, and I haven't like grinded the tape with this Bears team this season, at least defensively, to see like if he's getting a ton of more double teams. But I feel like that's the case, especially when they don't have somebody that's solidified in this league as like a staple on the other side. So I feel like they're kind of focusing more attention on Robert Quinn, and your production's probably going to go down there as far as sacks go. And like he's
and
going to go to Philly.
He didn't break the record last year for single season Chicago Bears
sack records. No, that didn't happen at all. You know, like
didn't happen.
That just we're just going to forget about that. He's worth a 4th round pick now all of a sudden. Like I think that right now that's where his value probably is. Like this right now, you probably got good value for him if we're being honest. But you should have done it before the season. We've said that multiple times. And he's going to go to Philly. The most frustrating part of this, he's going to go to Philly, and he's probably going to get home to the quarterback on average of 1.5 times a game because of how good that team already is.
Yeah.
So now he's going to go over there
and he's going to play against us later in the season.
It's going to feast against us. Look at our O-line. We haven't even talked about that. This game coming up could be ridiculous.
We're cooked because our injury report did come out today. But I mean, just a quick moment of silence for this podcast, because let's say you didn't listen to the recap right away and you wait until this episode comes out and you listen to the recap of last game and then like the first 5 minutes of this episode and it's just like Cloud 9 and then I hate Ryan Poles. Like just like that, straight like that. Like the level of emotion switches so quickly. Obviously that episode was on Monday night, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The life of a Bears fan. We can't have it nice for 3 fucking days.
We go like we are the most up and down franchise as far as the fan base goes, and mostly just down. Yeah. But when we go up, we don't stay there very long.
I thought it was just like such a swift kick in the nuts where like I was already running like errands that I didn't want to run. I had to get like the emission test for my car so I could get my $3,000 sticker for it. Like Jesus, those things are expensive now. And all I see is like you know how when ESPN sends you an alert and it's not for a game or anything, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, what's that?
And then it says Bears trade, and I'm like, are you serious? And then obviously Robert Quinn. So Woosa, he is gone. He's probably going to wreak havoc against us later in the season and kick us off the In the Hunt graphic. I am not trying to manifest that, but we are on that graphic as we speak. And we have a game this weekend. we have a defense that we have to prepare to play a very versatile offense in the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of playmakers. They got their quarterback in Dak Prescott back last week. I would have loved to have got the opportunity to play Cooper Rush the way he was playing the last few weeks. He was looking pretty cooked, but
especially that last game. Yeah,
Dak's still not, where he's not up to speed. He played one game, so it's going to be a little bit different with the pass rush that we have. Going to need a big game out of Gibson. Going to need a big game out of Robinson, and especially the interior line. But Dallas hasn't looked really great offensively over the last few weeks. I know you were a Detroit +7 guy last week. That didn't work out, but
yeah, I was banking on the rustiness factor with Dak just coming back and Detroit coming off. They got blown out the week before in Foxborough, I believe. So I was like,
at halftime, you looked like the smartest man in the room. So
should have just did the first half, to be honest. But.
Yeah, sometimes I like the in and out, a nice first half, or with the Bears. The Bears on Monday, it looked like that might have been the move, and then I'm like, no, I don't even have money line, and I'm like scared. Like we're gonna win this game. Like we're good, but.
It's a big spread this week for the Bears, too, by the way.
Oh, Scott just said Zeke is out. So, yeah, I haven't seen an injury report.
Was he ruled out? I know he was banged up. I'm going to check that right now. Maybe Scott – he's saying he's out, though. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at the Dallas Cowboys injury report, and I didn't see anything on there. So.
Not expected to play this week, it says. Yeah, knee injury. He went out. It looked pretty bad last week, so – Pollard's the dude. That could be huge, man, because
Pollard's a dog, dude.
He is, but like I feel like with Pollard and Zeke, they have a very similar like the similarities between the Bears running game with Montgomery and with Khalil Herbert. Like Montgomery basically is Zeke in the sense that like
I heard this on another podcast, dude.
Did you actually hear this? I was looking at these two teams today.
Not so much the Montgomery part, but the fact that someone called Khalil Herbert like the Tony Pollard of the Bears.
Interesting.
Because
I kind of feel that. I feel that.
So the point that they were making was they said that when Herbert was the guy, it wasn't as good as when he's the change of pace. And it's almost like a bigger, more elevated role of what Tariq Cohen had, and he's not 5'9". So
and Pollard doesn't
still up Tariq, but yeah, like Khalil Herbert is that dude as far as like 1B. But like in the NFC right now, if you look at it, for 1B backs, it's Tony Pollard and then Khalil Herbert. In my opinion,
I think. To me, yeah, you're probably right. Like you could probably throw Nick Chubb and like Kareem Hunt.
No, I'm just talking straight NFC. Just straight NFC.
Oh, just NFC. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like Pollard doesn't pass block as good as Zeke does. Zeke's a really good pass blocker, and Herbert doesn't pass block as well as Montgomery. Neither. Herbert doesn't receive as well as Montgomery either, though.
If he can get better hands, total game changer.
But they make you like Montgomery and Zeke, what they do, what Zeke does for the Cowboys, he will make you like feel it as the game goes on. He like wears on your defense. He's that extra yard getter like Montgomery is.
Yeah, because he weighs 300 pounds.
He's just maxing out Mickey D's practice before practice.
He is enormous, but yeah, you still have to worry about CeeDee Lamb. They don't have the same arsenal of receivers, but they still got Michael Gallup over there. If Zeke's not in, I don't know. I'm gonna look at their depth chart because it's not like they're just gonna run one back out there, you know.
No, it probably. I mean, I don't even know who their third string is because they don't really. Use anybody
Scott said in the chat that Adam Rank tweeted that. Yeah, dude, their third string running back's name is Rico Dowdle, and he's on IR. There's no shot that's a real guy.
Rico Dowdle, you said?
Rico Dowdle. He's got some pretty sick dreads, though. I'm not gonna lie. So he's definitely a real person. He has a picture on ESPN. But
well, as long as he's real, I guess. I mean,
yeah. Offensively, I think this is a game that we have one man that we really need to worry about, and the other guy. He will take his chances. He may intercept Justin Fields, but on those chances that he doesn't intercept Justin Fields, I expect our receivers to get in behind him because Diggs is a very aggressive corner in their secondary. But the man that roams that front seven area, that Penn State Nittany Lions, say that 10 times quick. Don't know what the hell we're going to do with that guy this week and how we're going to stop him from giving Justin Fields a hard time back there.
It's going to be nasty, dude.
He's like minus 110 for Defensive Player of the Year halfway through the season.
Anytime there's a minus at this point, dude, he's got 8 sacks.
He is your Defensive Player of the Year unless he gets hurt.
He's got like 36 pressures through 7 games. Like, the guy's a fucking menace. It's
hey, a lot. We're just trying to figure out how we're going to block Micah Parsons this week. If you have any ideas, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm looking to block him on Twitter too, and I don't even think I can do that. He's so fucking good. It's going to be tough, man. If Borum's out, if like we already have Lucas Patrick, who I'm not even sure is really that good, but like better than Mustafa.
Yeah,
now,
way to fucking kick him when he's down.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not even sure he's that good. He's just like a slight upgrade from the dude that should be strapped to a rocket ship, who he just keeps like avoiding this rocket ship.
He had a higher grade than everyone's darling Tevin Jenkins last week. So yep, take your flowers, Sam Mustard, for a good game.
Don't see that. I don't know how that happened. Dude, did you see the play? Like, I know you saw the video where he's like taking a walk in the park. He's looking around. He was like just strolling, taking his dog out, walking towards the lake. Like the dude was not even looking to put a hit on anyone, Sam Mustafa. And then on the other side, you have Tevin Jenkins literally throwing people from the line of scrimmage out of the stadium and like knocking them on their ass.
But listen, dude, the stat nerds don't care about that. The numbers
they can go fuck themselves with that one.
I think it was PFF too that graded him higher, which makes it look less relevant too, because you're like, okay, Sam Mustard is not better than Tevin Jenkins, but we digress.
Not even close. No, it's funny sometimes though. Like you wonder, like that's where I get like, okay,
you wonder how much Bdon loves Notre Dame.
What are you about to say? Mustafa's better?
No, I said you wonder how much Bdon loves Notre Dame.
Let's hear it. How much?
I think the best Notre Dame player on our team right now is Equinavia St. Brown. And it's not even close. Dude,
he blocks the ever-living shit out of people as a receiver, and he's good.
We got 3 of them, and they're all on offense.
Komet's been good too, though. I mean, his
Komet's been good, but they still don't know how to use him. Nobody knows how to use Cole Kmet, and the last person that knows how to use him, I will not say his name because I do not respect him as a human being. But yeah, and fuck LSU. But
you about to say Chase Claypool?
No, Brian Kelly. That was his last.
Oh, no.
That was the last coach that knew how to use him because Matt Nagy doesn't know what to do with Cole Kmet. And so far, Eberflus has minimally used him in this offense. And I think this is an offense that, especially this week, right, you're going to need the checkdowns. You're going to need David Montgomery coming out of the flats to catch a pass and get you 5 or 6 yards. You're going to need Cole Kmet to catch an out route or catch something over the middle because the pressure of this D line and this front seven probably up there with some of the best in the league, if not the best. And it's protect Justin at all costs. You know what I'm saying? And the line's banged up too, so protect themselves as well because they're already all banged up.
I think they're going to have to do a lot of the same things that they did in last week's game as far as like moving the pocket, like the sprint outs. Like that stuff you can kind of neutralize some of the straight up like blitzes and like just him coming at your line. Like I think that is going to be key, like getting him off balance and getting him moving side to side more so than just directly straight down at you.
Yeah.
Because then you can you can throw him off a little bit and maybe you can get like, all right, he's coming at you. We've seen it with Fields a ton with just different plays where
my favorite where we just run him into someone's asshole.
Just run, or Fields or somebody just runs.
That's one of my new ones for this year. I haven't used that one until this year, but after many years of watching the Bears offense, we love the play where you call hike and run into someone's asshole. Just one of your alignments.
It's the Mark Sanchez over and over again.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But listen, I, we're 10-point dogs already, and it's only going to get higher. And we lost Robert Quinn, and I don't know, man. It's a weird game to begin with. I think if you don't trade Robert Quinn and you just go into this game momentum like high, same roster that you had on Monday night, like 5-6 days before, and anything can happen. But I am scared now that offensive line we're not going to have enough, and defensive line we're not going to have enough. And with the Cowboys having their full arsenal of weapons, as high as it was last week, dude, it could be right back down to like we're getting shit pumped. Obviously, I'm not going to put that on record and say we're going to lose because it's the NFL. And if there is a team known for losing games that they have no business losing, it is the Dallas Cowboys, led by Mike McCarthy, who is not a good head coach, never has been, and Dak. I don't know. They're a team that definitely fumbles games that they shouldn't. So I'm not going to discount us, especially with how good we've looked.
And look at their outside playmakers too. Like they have basically CeeDee Lamb and like maybe Dalton Schultz. Like who else? Like Michael Gallup's still getting over the ACL tear. He hasn't been that good. Like
their offense hasn't been great this season. Like what was it they scored last week? Like 24 and 18 of those were in the second half.
He did a lot in the second half.
If they're gonna think that they can wait until the second half to score against us, they have another thing coming.
Oh, this is the second half Bears, baby. You don't do that.
They have another thing coming if they think that they can take the first half off offensively and then come back out in the second half and just put up points on us. But let's see what Alam says. After the Patriots game, I feel like the Bears have a realistic chance to win this game. The defense matches up well with the Cowboys offense. Yeah.
I think you're right, but like if you look at like pressure rates and stuff, now you're losing Robert Quinn, who I know hasn't been great this year, like numbers wise, but like you can look at multiple different reasons for that. And like you look at the pressure rate from the Bears, they don't get much pressure, and the Cowboys don't allow much pressure. And on the other side, like you said, this is a battle of lines this week.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys are first in sacks, the Bears have allowed the most sacks. And the adjusted sack rates are the same way. Like the Bears, the only team in double-digit percentage points for adjusted sack rate allowed for the offensive line. The only team, like the next best team or the next worst team is the Atlanta Falcons, who's at 9.9%. The Bears are close to 16%. Like, well, hello, Ryan Pace, by the way, but something with offensive lines with that guy. But this is going to be hard.
The Atlanta Bears.
The Atlanta Bears. Yeah, hello, Atlanta Bears. This is going to be – I don't know about this line play. I agree with Alap, though, about the passing defense. Like, that secondary the Bears have right now, especially with the rookies playing the way they are and Kendall Vildor playing the way he is too. I don't know how they're going to get open against the Bears. They're going to have to get schemed open, and I feel like some of that could be – maybe bringing too many pressures in situations where you shouldn't, and then the Bears get beat that way because they feel like they're not getting home and they bring too much pressure. Like the pre-snap motion that the Cowboys usually like to run, at least like last season and stuff. Like Kellen Moore likes a lot of pre-snap motion. I feel like that could really fuck up the Bears defensively, but I mean, you better score early because I know Flus will make those adjustments in the second half.
Yeah, Kellen Moore is another guy who does not scare me as far as calling a game. Like his first year out, everyone was so enamored by him, and then ever since then, it's just been him farting on his nuts. So I don't know, dude.
Well, in fairness, they also haven't had the quarterback most of the season either, though. So
yeah, but I'm getting smoked by my allergies right now. I literally feel like Gucci, man. I cannot breathe through my nose. But yeah. Anyways. I don't like that this game's at Jerry World. I'd rather have this game, like, especially with the way the weather is this week, out at Soldier, like a nice little bear weather game. But I think our team is a team that is meatball, and we have to get a meatball taken since Quentin's not with us today. As meatball as this sounds, our team is significantly faster on turf, dude.
Yeah, because they play on shit.
Indoors.
They're like, oh, this is new. This feels good.
So, like, your point of we got to hit them early. Like, I almost want to say we're in the meeting rooms right now talking about, we're calling up Tavares Jackson to dress so we can win the toss and get the ball first. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of shit.
Tavares Jackson,
the all-time winningest coin toss leader in NFL history. But like,
that's a stat right there.
We need the ball first. We need points first, and then that's when we adjust to how we play. Because if we go down early, it's going to be hard to come back against this team because they know we're going to pass, so their DBs are going to be more aggressive, right? And then on top of that, if we go down early and they know we're going to be passing as well, like, their pass rush is going to recap. So it's not a matter of if or how, it's just when and how many times they get after Justin. Because, like you said, it's what, the number one pass rush attack in the entire NFL, and our offensive line is not that, So we're gonna need some good performances, and people are gonna have to step up too, because the injury report, the two that did not practice today was guard Lucas Patrick with a toe injury, and then Larry Borum, who has a concussion. So you can pretty much count Larry Borum out, because if he got a concussion on Monday, there's no way that he's going to be ready to play on Sunday. So It is what it is. But
did you see the Byron Pringle thing? I think he could return this week, right?
I did not see that. No.
I think Byron Pringle might be back. Flus said, let me see what he said here. We're going to see where he goes in terms of his conditioning level. He's been working with the strength staff, and we're going to open his window up today. If he does really well, we'll see what happens later in the week. That's what Flus was saying about Byron Pringle. So we might see him. I don't know.
So I think we need to get this on T-shirts, because I could get this for the Huskies. I could get this for Notre Dame. I could get this for the Bears. But control the clock and pound the rock.
I like that.
Like, holy shit. Coming from a guy who has never played a snap of football in his life, this guy is such a football man at heart that we need to talk to Tony to get that shit on a T-shirt. But Pringle's 21-day window start to return from IR starts today, so we won't get him back for a few weeks. You know how that shit goes. But
he can, though, technically, yeah. I think.
But honestly, I think this is a game. It wasn't on the books when I looked earlier, and I didn't think about it because, you know what? That's weird, dude. I looked on the books earlier in the week because I was talking about the game, and it wasn't up. And that was like an hour before I got off of work, and then Quinn got traded.
And then,
so you told me they're not in bed together, yeah.
They know something before moves are announced. Somebody's like, "Hey,
scary shit."
I want to pull that down.
So the numbers for the game still remain the same. Bears plus 9.5, over under 42.5.
Cowboys public money's coming in too.
Yeah, so Quentin said to wait until Sunday.
I like that.
And then the money line is plus 340. But another bet that I think is a consistent bet that you can hit each week if you're not crazy to hit the money line. But the Bears over 1.5 touchdowns. It's 135. It's a little juice, but last week it was minus 115, and that shit slapped by halftime. So I think there's a lot of value in Joey. You can probably back me up because your props went 3-0 on Monday night, but there's a lot of value in a team like our team right now in the betting markets, as far as the prop markets go, as far as team totals go, and as far as basically anything having to do with moving the ball and scoring points. Now, obviously, we have not shown on a consistent basis that our players can do that and they can consistently hit those yard totals. But you're talking about Justin Fields hit his passing yards the last 5 weeks. They don't know what the proper number is for him each week in and out. And I saw a tweet earlier that I don't remember what week it's dating back to. He is, it's not the full season, but the last few weeks, the fourth quarterback in fantasy, up there with like Mahomes and
that rushing, man.
Yeah,
that rushing,
dude. And it's finally beautiful to see a team utilize his legs and utilize RPOs and ways to get him in space and get him involved in the rushing game. Because he had, was it 80 yards the last game? He had plenty of yards against Washington. I want to say about 80 yards in Washington against Washington as well. And
But a lot of that came unscripted. This last week was
scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this week, even this week against the Cowboys, I'd like to see scripted and unscripted because he's going to be running for his life a little bit back there, you know?
Mm-hmm. Dude, I honestly think, like, I love the play calling from last week. I think we all did. We all walked away from that. I don't know a single person that's, like, out there that watches the Bears or, like, even, like, you put on, you know, NFL Network or anything like that. Everybody's like, I love the way they schemed it up. I love the way they catered to the strengths. And it's so true, man. Like, if you do something like that similar, I know Fields was saying they stole plays from the Ravens. Why wouldn't you, though? Like, if you're a smart coaching staff or smart team, you make adjustments and it's a copycat league. Like, you see what works out there and you use that to your players' strengths. Matt Nagy would have never done this in his life, dude. He would have died before he ever caved in and used somebody else's plays or somebody else's system. Like, except what he knew, I feel like, was a lot of Andy Reid's stuff. And then he just, like, I don't know. So I guess you could go back and forth on that, but he wouldn't have changed. He wouldn't have changed, like, mid-season like that. Like, we saw a change within, 7 weeks of football. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I like Eberflus. I think Eberflus is a good coach. He's the right fit for this team. I think Getsy still, even though last week we saw a masterpiece from him, still needs time to adjust to being an NFL offensive coordinator. It's a new gig for him. You know what I'm saying? He's not used to it. So all things considered, I think the team is in a good position to play spoiler again. And yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's going to have to be a game that gets shortened because, like, last week, it didn't seem like the Patriots had the ball at all. You know what I'm saying? We had the ball for the entire game. And if your defense can continue to get off the field, then your offense can move the ball down the field methodically. We had like 6, 7, 8-minute long drives last week. We need that type of performance this week in order to win this game. And we're going to have to get some turnovers because we're going to need extra possessions.
You want to know the time of possession last week?
I'm very horny to find out it was over 30 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. It was close to 40. Close to 40. 37-14 Bears, and New England had 22-46 of possession.
When you have an entire quarter's worth of possession over your opponent, and you won the turnover margin 3 by 3, over with.
That fourth quarter was like
unless you're Iowa football, bro, you are winning that game.
Don't do this. Don't do this. We're not even close to Saturday yet. We're not even close to Saturday. I don't want to hear about Iowa. Nothing Iowa. Yeah. ISM was cut. Riley Reef probably still can't sniff the field even with line injuries.
Riley Reef's been in the locker room watching Riley Reid.
I just caught that. It's bad that I know who that is. Yeah, it's bad that you said it too, probably. Honestly, though, I feel like this is a game that, like you said, they can upset, they can shock again. I know we're in Jerry World, whatever.
We're a frisky team, though, you know?
It can become ours. Jerry World can become ours. It can become Justin's world. And the spread, I feel like that's a freaking lock. Like, I hate to throw that word out there, the lock word, but I feel like that's a lock because they don't lose by more than 8 points this season outside of the Packers.
That and the over 1.5 total touchdowns or whatever the team total are, I think are pretty solid bets. But the money line is such a love-hate relationship, right? Because last week was the first week of the season that I didn't take it, and it was the juiciest one.
I didn't take it either last week.
And let's have a moment here, right? Is it us? Are we the one that kill the Bears every week? Because We don't have many weeks to stack this stat up against, but we both just took the spread. Like, okay, let's just not get embarrassed, right? And shit pumping. So, are we on the hot seat for when we bet the Bears money line?
You did predict them still though in the preview, so I'll say that. Don't bet the money line, maybe, but Quentin and me picked against the Bears for the outcome, and then we were pleasantly surprised. So I'm spoiler alert, I'm picking against the Bears this week again.
Shitbag.
Just so they like I want to be pleasantly surprised, dude. I don't want to sit there and be like, thinking this way, like, oh my God, the pain of me losing money and stuff, all that too. Like, just give me a win. Just feed me a win.
Hammering the Bears money line responsibly.
Perverted. Just straight up perverted. I think I don't know, man. It's gonna be fun to watch. I'm not saying they're gonna win, but I feel like they really do have a shot this week again, and we'll see what happens.
It feels good, right, to be in the thick of things, to have a team that. I mean, I know it was just one game, but we can sit back and say if they play like that this week,
you got a cheat code. You got a cheat code at quarterback. When you have a cheat code at quarterback, you can pull shit out of your ass and win games. Like, that's pretty much what happens if he plays like that. And the defense, like, turnovers, man, get some turnovers on deck. You start getting those turnovers, you don't have they can't play crazy ball control because I don't think Pollard is a really good change of pace back. I don't think he's a burden carrier. I don't think he can carry the load for a full. I mean, maybe he can. You can prove me wrong, but like, I don't see him like taking 30 carries this week or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
DeMarco Murray ain't coming out that tunnel on Sunday.
DeMarco Murray, dude, he was actually kind of a beast.
Yeah, he was
for a little bit.
What do you have for score prediction and players of the game?
Oh, I think score prediction. What's the total? 42.5, 43.5, something like that.
42.5.
I think it might go over.
I think it might go over too. Yeah.
I don't want to bet that, but I think it might go over, especially playing on the turf. That sounds like an over bet right there. I'll say Dallas. I mean, the Flus defense, they're not going to give up that much. I'll say 24. I think they do get 3 touchdowns. 24, Bears 20. 24-20. I got to do it. I got to go against the Bears this week because I want them to win, so I can't pick them.
Yeah, you look like you're 8 years old now that I am the one with more facial hair just because I didn't shave today. But
hey, come on, that 5 o'clock daddy's coming in a little bit. I got to get closer.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think it is going to be a more high-scoring game because the Cowboys, I don't know, they get into like those back and forth games. You know what I'm saying? They get into games where there's just this team scores a touchdown, we get a touchdown, and then it comes down to the last drive. And I think if the Bears can stay in the game till the last drive and we can get like an away game, Justin Fields, like walk-off moment, that would be sick. Now, obviously that's a very like specific way to look at this game. But I think this got to be Justin Fields' first game at Jerry World, right?
I'm pretty sure. Did they play him last year?
No, they wouldn't have played him
there.
They wouldn't have played him there, yeah. So it's got to be
played him at all.
It's got to be his first game there, and it's the Dallas Cowboys. Like, as much as we all talk shit about the Dallas Cowboys, like, you don't think the players want to go into Jerry World and just ruin the Cowboys fans' day and fuck them up? Like, I think, dude, I'm just gonna keep making like Justin Fields same game parlays with only his props in them because
that's what I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought for a minute. I'm pounding right now weekly.
Half a touchdown, his rushing yards and his
passing and rushing together though. Together,
all three.
You could do it all three separate too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you could do all 3 separate, but most importantly, do all 3 together because they're all hitting, no matter what. But that
goes back to your point though about the markets being lower on the Bears because of what they expect from the Bears. The betting markets are too, because a lot of the sharps are taking unders on a lot of this shit, and
just like they were taking the under on the preseason total. And
they're about to get slapped in the mouth with it.
I will not be taking the under in any form this week. I got the Bears winning this one. I'm going to say 27-24. Maybe Justin Fields doesn't have to drive us all the way down the field. Maybe get a little field goal at the end from Cairo Santos, who, by the way, won Special Teams Player of the Week. Fucking love that guy. Cairo Santos,
man.
Yeah,
he's got
saint. He is a saint. But yeah, it is a tough game on the road. Short turnaround. You lose your captain on defense essentially in Robert Quinn. So, but you gotta respond. It's the NFL. You got to find a way to win a football game on offense and defense. Who you think is most important for this week?
I mean, offensively, it always comes down to Fields. I hate to say that, but it's the truth of the matter. If he shows up, he can bail you out. But I also think the player of the game, like Quentin went with for his player of the game after New England, after that game, we did the post-game show, Luke Getsy. I think he is the most important man this week, again, with dealing with line injuries. You're going to have to get creative, especially when you already have a guy that's been a hole there all season long in Sam Mustipher, and then Larry Borum not playing that well. And even if he's out, like, who's replacing him? There's a lot of question marks in that line. Luke Getsy's going to have to get creative, pound the rock, control the clock. Let's create the T-shirt. I love it. Offensively, I'll go with Getsy. Defensively, it's a tough one. I feel like we're going to have to get some pressure, though. Robert Quinn not being there. Let's go Dominique Robinson.
It's a big difference, you know?
Big difference. You're going to have to get some pressure. You're going to have to – somebody else is going to have to step up, maybe tip a few balls to line like we saw last week. Dominique Robinson.
Maybe
that'll be my guy.
Stick your face mask out and just take it off the face mask and hope that it gets picked off like it did against us a few weeks ago. But yeah, offensively.
Ooh, did you see that? I know you saw that Tevin Jenkins lay out the dude after he tipped the ball. Oh, baby. Sorry, that just reminded me of that. Got me a little excited.
I didn't see it, but I saw it. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, I have my Tevin Jenkins bullshit that I always just say. I'm like, oh yeah, he sucks. I don't care. But
yeah, he's a monster.
That's just my sarcasm.
You hate Ryan Poles, yet you don't like Tevin Jenkins, and he wasn't even a Poles guy.
Yeah, but
make it make sense.
Poles almost got rid of him and didn't do it. Maybe that's why I hate Poles. I'm just kidding.
Throw the worst time.
Throw the tinfoil hat on. But offensively, I think it's O-line. If the O-line doesn't play well this week, we don't stand a chance in hell. And right now on Wednesday, as it stands, we don't really know what the offensive line is going to be because, as you know, it was a new 5 last week. So we'll see what happens. But offensive line is the most important position group in my eyes for this game. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think I'm going to go Travis Gibson. I think that's a guy who's been taking like a more increased role as far as a leader goes. He's been more vocal. You see him always breaking down huddles and just all sorts of shit that you see usually from a veteran guy. And that's a guy that's younger than both of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's out there commanding huddles and leading his guys. And I think that's very admirable. And now that the guy that has paved the way for him throughout his career as a Chicago Bear is gone, it's his turn to step up and be that next guy. I like Robinson as another pick, but you guys know Gibson's my guy. I'm going to lay off getting his jersey because if I get his jersey, then he'll definitely get traded or released at some point. But I think he at least gets a sack and a half this weekend, and hopefully he can create a turnover. And for score, like I said, 27-24.
I like that call. You're very close to a lap, too. He said 27-23 Bears, I think. So you guys are very close there. We're not too far off.
Yeah, and we need to utilize our receiver's speed and utilize the deep ball that Justin Fields can throw with 0 weather elements affecting it to go against Trayvon.
Yeah, absolutely. And Diggs, from what I've seen over, like, I haven't watched real closely a lot of Cowboys games this season, but from what I've seen, Diggs can be very aggressive. Like, he'll make a ton of plays, and that's why he gets all the accolades and, all the praise. He's very good that way, and he's a playmaking corner, but he can get burnt because he's of over-aggressiveness. So maybe that's a way that the Bears can really attack this defense.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to hear his son in the post-game press conference talking about, thank you, Justin, for throwing my dad a football. Hell no. So if we throw a pick, anyone but him. But I'd like to see another clean game out of Justin. I'd like to see another clean game out of this offense and out of Luke Getsy. And I honestly think that we can find a way. I'll be happy with it. But no matter which way the game goes, which I did see when I looked at the ESPN, like, the FPI power index or whatever, and there was a 0.4% chance to tie, so keep that in mind. But they gave us like a 20% chance to win. So
all right,
this is one of those games that we could be up 14-0, and you could probably still hit the money line then, because it'll probably still be like plus 100. But we're gonna find a way out there on Sunday, and like I said, no matter which way it goes, we will be here to recap it for you. Hopefully it's another Bears victory, because Monday was one of the most fun episodes that we've had of the show. But Joey, give us some final wrap-up thoughts before we head out.
Well, before I do that, I was going to ask you, Trayvon Diggs or Darnell Mooney, are the officials asking, which one are the officials asking for an autograph after the game, like the Mike Evans thing?
Darnell Mooney for sure. Yeah, right. You don't ask the refs after your game where you can go golf at. That's what they were saying.
That's what they claim.
Talking about a golf course, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure a golf course. So they wrote it down, and here, write down which one you wanted to go to.
Damn, bro. I just got scared for a second that we were getting kicked off because I saw the Bulls game was 95-90, but it's only in the third quarter. So
it's a high-scoring game in the third, though.
So, yeah, now we will start the second hour of Bears on Tap. No, I'm just kidding. Do you have any final thoughts before we head out?
Not really, man. Find a way to get a win. You know what I mean? It's just keep doing what you were doing last week. Build on that momentum. Hopefully they can carry it over, even though it's a little demoralizing probably in the locker room right now without Robert Quinn. I truly feel like this is going to be a game where you're going to have to overcome some of the feelings that you have. Like, go out there, and I have no doubt that a guy like Roquan Smith and some of these other guys, they have the character, they have the toughness, even mental toughness, to overcome this and to just get out there and be a professional and to play football and play tough. And Flus, I mean, he says, do it for the next man, the guy next to you, like the stuff they're preaching in that locker room. It feels like it's a very good vibe and atmosphere right now, and that they're really strength building, character building right now. Even though a lot of these guys already had, the toughness factor, but I feel like they can overcome this. So I just want them to ride that wave. Like, remember how good it felt to win, right? On Monday Night Football. Remember how good it felt to beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots on Monday Night Football on prime time when everybody doubted you. Not a single person picked you to win the game, and you're probably not going to get too many people who are going to pick you to win this game again in Jerry.
Oh, yeah, no, the graphic's going to be the same as it was last week. It's just going to be all Cowboys. I already can see it.
Use that as fuel, man. It's got to be fuel. That's how you're going to win games. You have to be fueled. And I mean, so far they've done nothing to show us that they're not going to put up a fight. So, like, I feel good about walking into each Bears game. Like, it's going to be competitive for the most part. Like the Packers game, okay, whatever. That's a one-off, right? We're going to see them again, but I feel good, man. Feel good about this game coming up. Hey, Bdon, who sleeps in later, Mike McCarthy or Ryan Poles, Alap says, I'm going to say McCarthy because never thought he was good. Poles, we're questioning. We're still questioning.
Yeah, I mean, Poles is probably just getting up right now as we're finishing this episode. So, makes you think. Really makes you think. But, yeah, I don't know. I am going to mentally prepare myself by Sunday afternoon that there is an avenue to win this game. And just because the morale can be low because we did lose Quinn, I wouldn't discount our chances to win this game because the Cowboys are probably licking their chops thinking that this game's going to be super easy and that they're going to roll right over us. But I think at the very least we'll be competitive in this game. And if we can find a way to win late, that'd be even better. But Alap has one final note. He said Poles woke up to find out he sleepwalked a trade with the Eagles. Yeah, essentially what happened. Here's one. We'll go with one. One final shining moment for Puerto Rican Bobby. For those of you that don't know, that's his Instagram tag. Best memory of Robert Quinn as a Bear.
And he broke the record, man, last year. Broke the record. There's a lot of good ones, but the strips. There's a lot of good ones.
At that point in his career, though, at the age he was to do that at a historic franchise like the Bears, as much as people won't give us that credit to say historic before it, there's one thing that we've always done well, and that's play defense. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty solid ending note. Rip Robert Quinn, rip the old defense because it's a whole bunch of new guys. The only two real remaining pieces left are Roquan Smith and Eddie Jackson. And
Jalen Johnson.
But he's one of the newer comers. Yeah, 3 years, but
still new, pretty much.
Yeah, so frustrating day, but onward we have to move and get ready for the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry World, and hopefully by the end of Sunday afternoon it will be named Justin's World. But this was Bears on Tap, presented to you by On Tap Sportsnet. I'm your host, Brandon Suarez. You can follow me on Twitter at Bdon300, and you can follow Joey at Joey Knows Nothing. We'll be back to you guys on the other side of this Bears game. We have nothing else for you guys tonight, and bear down.
Bear down.